Yeah, so the investment that we announced this week, so we announced £1.5 billion investment in the UK. So we deployed £1 billion last year, and this is incremental investments, 2.5 in total. So we'll be deploying this in Scotland, a little bit in between the Glasgow-Edinburgh corridor, and this will come in 2 phases between the early part of next year, January, February time next year, and then in Q4 of the end of the year, basically.
Okay, so what's going to happen in terms of the build-out? The idea is to deliver advanced, purpose-built AI infrastructure to the UK?
Yeah, so we'll be bringing Blackwell chips, so obviously the latest offering from Nvidia to the UK market, a large scale that larger than we've done to date. So we'll be delivering Blackwell chips in 2 phases, I said before. The uniqueness of Scotland, the reason we've chosen that location, because we're basically building next to large renewable sources. So we're basically taking renewable power and directly plugging it into the data center, which is helping us reduce the energy cost as well. So one of the big challenges for the UK has been getting energy costs down, so it's competitive to run AI workloads here, and that's why we've chosen Scotland, this location.
Yeah, and that's the issue, hasn't it? That's been the question mark about renewable energy, or about the use of energy for data centers. Is the cost coming down, and how does that happen? How is that going to work?
Yes, it will be over time. So obviously, there are 2 things when we're thinking about how we're getting power to these data centers as quickly as possible. So obviously, the demand we're seeing in the market is incredible. So we're trying to keep up with that every day. With us basically deploying and building out renewables in Scotland, we can somewhat own the timeline of that as well. So versus waiting for the grid, we can develop the energy and deploy the energy ourselves next to the data center, and then obviously the cost of that is pretty significantly lower as well. So
and you've been here, obviously you're making this announcement in this huge week with the President of the United States being here, and Jensen Huang making that extraordinary press conversation just yesterday about investment in AI and how he sees the UK as an AI superpower, which surely will be music to the ears of the government. But anyway, how is the UK government powering that? How are they helping you in terms of the renewable build-out?
So we need to closely partner with government, so particularly around planning and getting the approval to deploy all of this infrastructure.
Have they made promises to you on that?
So we're working through it. So, obviously, if we're making this decision to work, on a private basis to deploy this energy, so we can own the timeline and do that faster with our partner. But then obviously we've got to work hand in hand with the government as well to get approvals to develop more infrastructure as well, so we can scale up this over time. So this is really the beginning. If we had access to more energy, we'd be doing more at this point as well. So we've announced multiple investments across Europe and over the last year or so as well, and there'll be more to come quite soon, but we're really looking at how we can deploy more power and then build our infrastructure next to it.
And this is the extraordinary thing that I take away from this week. It's that there is more being dangled at the UK. It's a question of how you get that and access that. In terms of GPUs and kind of gigawatt capacity, what could you deliver if there were more backing? I mean, and what are you aiming for just with this project?
Yeah, I mean, look, so we basically, if you look across what we've done in the UK, so we announced our first investment, and it was 2 data centers. We deployed them literally within a few months. So I had access to the first data center in August last year. That was online in October, fully online with the latest H200 chips from Nvidia. And then the second data center was a month later. They were both in the London area. So we can move incredibly fast. So we're building out large, really sizable data centers. We're building now single data centers up to 260 megawatts, so 100,000 GPUs in a single cluster. And we'll do that in months. So if everything's in place and we're ready to move, we can do that very quickly. So ultimately, the main driver of getting this done is getting access to the power as quickly as possible.
I mean, on the one hand, the upside is that if we get the latest chips for the UK businesses could use that in order to deliver growth and benefits for the UK. On the other side, AI sovereignty, the idea of AI sovereignty for the UK does seem to have disappeared. It is US infrastructure businesses that are going to deliver this.
Look, the reality is when you think about sovereignty as well, so to be truly sovereign, the only country that could do this would be the US. They have Nvidia, they have the chips, they have the software, they have it. So if you want to look at true sovereignty, that's the only way you could really do this. So ultimately, what should be important to the UK is that the infrastructure, is built locally, managed by locals. Data is on local networks. The customers control where their data goes ultimately, and it's that's a great solution for the UK. And then obviously, clients in the UK market can have a level of comfort that everything's within UK borders and their data is kept within UK borders.
In terms of what you think this will deliver in terms of growth, I mean, again, I think it's quite interesting that Jensen Huang and Microsoft's Satya Nadella, indeed, was very pointed about saying that this will deliver. I mean, to me, it almost sounded like a government press release that Satya Nadella was talking about how much it's going to boost UK growth.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about building this infrastructure as well, so you have electricians, you have plumbing, you have HVAC, you have so many industries that are involved in it. You have a lot of construction, and that's just getting the shell and the site built out itself. And then you bring on the technical roles. You've got people deploying all of the IT infrastructure and all the software to run it and manage it. And as you're getting into the data center and those technical roles, and then the engineering team on top of that as well, these are really high-paying jobs, highly skilled jobs, and the industry is so new that when we're bringing people into the business and training them up, they've got an incredible path to grow up in the company and take on new roles and really well-paid jobs over time as well.